Welcome to the Candle Business Coach podcast. I'm your host, Kirsty Allen, and I am the Candle Business Coach. I'm also a mum of three and a kindness advocator. This podcast is all about making and selling candles, business development, and mindset, delivered to you with advice, inspiration, and motivation in a new episode every Friday. This episode is brought to you by the membership for candle makers, the Candle Makers Collective. Becoming a member gives you access to fortnightly online group Q&A coaching sessions to support you, monthly online workshops and trainings to help you grow your business, plus frequent expert guest speakers to inspire and teach you. You'll also have access to an ever-growing resource library with templates, guides, planners, and ebooks. But my favorite aspect of the membership is our exclusive Facebook group for accountability, connection, and support. So if you're looking to take your candle business to the next level and learn more about the membership for candle makers, click the link in the show notes for the Candle Makers Collective. Welcome back to the podcast, my friend. Today I'm excited to share that we have our second Candle Maker Connections episode with the beautiful Beck, Sue, and Alicia. Now, for those of you playing along and listened to the first Candle Maker Connections episode, you will know that these are the same three ladies that we had last time. So it's very nice to welcome them back. And today we're going to have a bit more of a focused conversation, this time about social media, what our feelings are towards it, what strategies we're using, how we're growing, if we're using paid ads, and discussion about how it all works and what we think. So the first question tonight, ladies, is what are your feelings towards social media? Now, that could be in general or it could be specifically for your business.
Okay, for me, I'll go first. So I actually love Instagram. Instagram is my main hangout, whereas like TikTok, I just feel like it's such a young audience. Like I just can't connect with people on TikTok, even though like I'll make my reels, I'll upload them to Instagram. I'll jump on TikTok and like repost from Instagram, but yeah, I just can't gain traction on it. I've recently just set up Pinterest as well, because I listened to the podcast. So we'll see how that one goes. But yeah, Instagram is definitely the one I love for my business.
Do you use Facebook much? Like when you post to Instagram, are you posting to Facebook as well, Beck?
Yeah, it just automatically does that for me because same thing. Like I don't like double handling. I just like it auto posted and that's good for me.
Yeah. You jump into the app, you do what you need to do, you jump out and get on with your business. What about you, Sue? What are your feelings towards social media?
I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with it. I love it for the candles. I don't personally post a lot of private stuff on any of the platforms, but for the candles, it's very, very good. So I have Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and a little bit of TikTok, but TikTok's not for me. I find that the candle addicts are mostly on Facebook. I have the older bracket, 35 to say 65 are my customers. I do go on to Instagram, but yeah, I don't love it. And Pinterest I do actually quite enjoy. And TikTok I just got on there to claim the name.
Isn't it interesting? Like it so depends on knowing who your target market is and where they spend their time online. And if that same platform aligns with what you enjoy, it makes the whole process a lot easier. But Alicia, what are your feelings on, say, TikTok and Instagram and Facebook in general?
For me, personally, I don't use social media for my personal life, but for the business, I love social media for the business, especially Instagram and TikTok. That's where majority of all my sales come from. I don't use Facebook though. I don't like it.
Fair
Facebook
enough.
is just not for me.
My next question was going to be what platforms do you use? But you've obviously answered, you've all answered that. But I'm curious, what made you choose and continue to work on the platforms that you're using? Is it more it's just easy to use, or that's where your target market is? Or explain to me why you're still posting on those platforms.
I feel with Instagram, it's like easy to use. Like I can create templates and then repost. Like, yeah, just to create a reel, I would make like just use the templates and Yeah, I can't dive into like I did make one reel though. Remember I did that about your order and I was so stoked, but it took me too long.
It does take a while. But as Alicia will reassure us, you do get faster the more you do it. It feels less clunky the more you practice. And if you're not looking back at your old content and cringing, are you even doing it right?
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
What about you, Sue? Why are you still posting on socials?
With Facebook, I suppose that's where I started. And because I have the private page, it's really, really good for the connection with the candle addicts because they feel like it's their own very private page. So I'm a little bit more personal on that page. I know they see everything. With Instagram, it was only just starting when I jumped on with the candles, and I really struggled to, it was more about dancing and in your face, and I wasn't excited by that. I do like the way you can put together reels and stories and do unusual things on Instagram. So I'll often create it on Instagram, save it, and then take it over to Facebook and add my music to it once it's on the Facebook page. And unlike Beck, I don't post the same things on both platforms if I'm just saying Instagram and Facebook, because when I'm following people, I don't like seeing a post on Facebook and then seeing the exact same thing on Instagram. So I will maybe post something on Facebook and then maybe a month later post it on Instagram, or I'll change the content up and the music so it's not exactly the same. More time consuming, but that's just a personal choice for me.
That's interesting, Sue, because I've never like thought of it like that. Like you seeing the double. Like I never thought of it like that. Yeah, good.
And personally, I don't like seeing that double. I feel like, oh my goodness, I've seen that already.
Yeah.
So I do, even if it's just the music, or I shorten it, or I put a different filter on it, but never at the same time, unless I'm desperate, unless I've got a market coming up and I've got to get something out there quickly, but very rarely.
That is a really interesting point, Sue, because I heard once that you shouldn't assume that everyone's following you on all the platforms that you are on. So I can see it definitely from both perspectives. Yes, you don't want to double up if someone is following you on multiple platforms, but also if people aren't following you, then they could miss out on seeing what you've posted because they're not on one of the platforms. So I think at the end, it comes down to personal preference. So yeah, I love that you've discovered that and figured that out for you and for your candle addicts. What about you, Alicia?
I really want to build that connection with people. I really want, especially for Instagram, I feel like that's where you build a connection, and people buy from people now. So I want people to get to know me, and they will the more they watch my content. And so that's why I keep posting, so that eventually it comes back in sales. It's not always that instant sale for me. It's nurturing the audience. And then for TikTok, I just keep posting because it's fun and entertaining. And I just really like it as a platform just to have fun on and not be as aesthetic or serious like Instagram.
Yes, that's a really good point. The different platforms have a sense of different requirements of what people are looking for when they're using those platforms. And obviously the audiences, like the age groups, are a little bit different on the different platforms as well.
Can I just say, Alicia, like your latest stuff that you've been doing on your Instagram, like I love it. I really love how you deep dive into your stories and like sharing that little part of you. Like I really appreciate seeing that. So you're doing well.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, I would agree. Every time you post, my first thought is, what story is she going to share and what can I learn about her journey? And I look forward to reading the caption and kind of getting to know you a little bit more in that way. And yes, it's still curated, and yes, it's still, from a business perspective, but you're doing it seemingly natural. Like it's like it's so genuine, absolutely authentic. But the way that it's coming across, like you can tell like it's just a little bit strategic, but that's not the focus. Like you're actually you're just being you. And I think that's really a testament to how you've grown from your previous brand to this one. And by deep diving more into your story, it's actually resulting in the faster connections with your audience. and actually sales. So you are making an impact on the dollar amount, but also on the actual connection with your audience, which I think is very inspiring.
And really
Thank you.
consistent too. I'm seeing it pop up all the time, every day. So that's really good too.
So
yeah,
good.
I feel like the more consistent you are, the more it does get pushed out.
How were you brave enough to start doing that, Alicia? Because I find I'll try and film a video of me talking and I'm like, oh my God, who is like even going to listen to this? Because I'm
I
not
know.
brave enough.
It's crazy because I used to be so shy. I would say up until 5 years ago, I wouldn't even talk to a stranger at the shops. So it's crazy how confident I seemingly am. I think it's just doing it. And I heard that if you practice on your phone, just recording yourself in your camera roll and pretending that you're talking to like your audience, it just builds your confidence naturally so that when you post something, you're way better at it because you've been practicing.
Okay, I'll get to practicing. Thanks, Alicia.
I cannot wait to see Beck's content where she's just going to deep
buckle
dive
up.
into her story. I'm ready. Oh, I am so ready. No, but it's true because the more you practice, the less, as I said before, it's going to feel less clunky and it will become more natural. And when you are speaking to the camera, but you're seeing through the camera and pretending that you're actually speaking to one person, not like the mass of all the followers that might see the content. But if you imagine you're just having a coffee date with a friend and you're just having a chat, it takes a bit of that pressure off so that it feels more natural. And the person at the other end who's actually watching the content feels like you're actually talking to them, which is the whole point. You don't want to be like, hey guys, this is what I'm up to today. Like, no, it's like, how are you, my friend? How are you doing? Like it's more intentional rather than I'm addressing the masses. I'm seeing some nodding, which the listeners can't hear, but I'll just say we can hear, we can see some nodding. All right, so let's talk strategy. What strategies are we using to be consistent and posting on the different platforms? Are we scheduling content? Are we doing it when it feels right? Or maybe a combination of all of that?
So sometimes I schedule, like as I'm coming up to a busy season, I'll schedule. My web page has a scheduler built into it, so I use that a lot. And then it tells me how many people are coming from social media to my web page, which is really good. But most of the time for me, like Alicia, it's the know, like and trust factor. So coming up to a market, I don't always just post candles. Sometimes it can be information on how to put your candle out properly, how to cut your wicks, how not to burn them for more than 3 hours, not to power burn. So little bits of educational stuff. And then also tiny little bit of personal stuff, like I got a new dog recently. I put that up in my stories. So I don't sell from my webpage. So for me, it's just getting the local community to know, like, and trust me. And then they will look for my posts and look for me at markets. So I don't have a rule on how to do it. I just go with the flow and see what happens.
It's often when you feel like you're in that flow, in that relaxed state of mind, that's when more inspiration can come to you and you feel more inclined to share it rather than it's Monday at 9 o'clock. I have to post because I've done that the previous week. And if I don't do that, the algorithm won't approve. And it can cause a lot more stress. But Beck, tell me about your strategy. What do you do?
Yeah, I feel like that's the biggest thing too, like getting your head around that algorithm. It's always changing. A few months ago when I didn't have a job and I didn't have all these things going on, I was on Canva and I would schedule my posts. But the only thing is with scheduling posts on Canva, I found my engagement was just so low. It was like because I wasn't posting in the moment, I guess, and directly on Instagram, yeah, my engagement for some reason was super low. So I actually stopped doing that. And now, well, I just post when I've got a spare couple of minutes and I think, all right. And it's hard too because I don't like filming. I don't like filming content for things. But everyone's like, well, just film whatever you're doing with work. You're making candles, just film something. So I try and do that, but it's tough. It's like a full-time job trying to do all the things and be on top of all the trends. And yeah, it's crazy hard. So
there's a lot, yeah.
Yeah,
There's
so
a
I
lot
just
to
wing
consider.
it pretty much.
Yeah,
I wing it
perfect.
and it works for me so far.
And what about you, Alicia? What's your strategy when it comes to posting on socials?
I'm much the same as Beck and Sue. I don't schedule. I've never scheduled a post or anything just because I like it to be in the moment and I feel like it's more authentic that way. So yeah, and I can't sit down and schedule posts. It drives me insane. So I just have to do it when I feel like it.
That's so funny because I must, like, out of the four of us, I'm the only one that schedules content ahead of time. But, you know, that works for me. And you've got to figure out what works for you and whatever you can be consistent with. And I think it depends on like how your brain functions and what makes you feel comfortable. And if you're able to, like Alicia, write a really long caption and it's just in the moment and it just feels right and you post it, or if you schedule, either one's fine, as long as you're getting the content out and not just sitting on it going, oh, I've got to do it, I'll do it later, I'll schedule it later, and then never get into it. And I feel like so many candle makers that I coach and speak to, they've got so much they want to share, but there's a block. And it's, what will people think? And what if I get judged? And what if there's trolls? And there's all these what ifs. It's like, well, you're not going to know unless you try. And you're not going to see results unless you're actually posting on socials. So I love that you've each found your own method and way of communicating with your followers and potential followers and audience by doing what feels right, because that's where you'll be the most consistent.
Can I just add a little bit about that scheduling? I don't know about you ladies, but I know if I schedule something, if I'm going out on a Friday night and schedule something for, say, 7:30, and then I start getting all these notifications on my phone and I've scheduled it the week before, and then I'm going, what is going on? And then I've got to go back and find the post. So that's why I don't like scheduling, because I forget I do it, and then I'm leaving the candle addicts in the dark because I'm not replying to them because I've scheduled and I don't have my phone with me. So yeah, that's one of the downsides of scheduling.
So interesting the way that each of us do run our business and what feels right. So I love that you've said that, Sue, because it's so important. If you are going to schedule, and I think if you're posting in the moment, you'll already be on the app, so you can respond to comments and messages straight away. But if you are going to schedule, you don't just post and ghost. You actually need to be there, responding to comments as quickly as possible. Don't be tied to your phone. Like, you need to live your life and be away from screens. Most of the time you should be away from screens, but we tend to live our life through our devices. So if you are going to post something, be ready to respond to comments, within the first hour or so that the algorithm can push your content out to more people because they're seeing that there's engagement on that post or on that story or on that reel. So very good point, Sue. Thank you for bringing that up. I'd love to know, ladies, out of the different types of content that you create for socials, reels, stories, posts, reposting customer, user-generated content, what performs best for you? What have you found gets the most engagement?
Well, for me, it's my short videos. So, people now want this instant gratification. Like, you've got 5 seconds to capture someone's attention. If you don't capture it within that first 5 seconds, you have got nothing. So my soap cutting videos are the most popular ones that I have because people have to wait to see the reveal. So yeah, that's my best one.
Okay, so short videos, short and snappy. What about you, Sue?
Well, just recently I had a post up where I had made some wax flowers to put on the top of my candles to make them pretty for Mother's Day. And I put it up and asked the candle addicts which flowers they liked. And it just went off the Richter scale. Like, I had them posting. And because every time someone posted, I would leave a comment, it ended up being huge. So I need to learn to do more of that because the customers, the addicts just loved it. And it was really good to see their reaction to it.
That's so good.
That's great, Sue, because you get that customer interaction as well, and it will boost up.
And that was Facebook.
Yeah, okay. You might convert me to Facebook one day, Sue.
I'm pretty sure Beck's gonna do more TikToks before she does more Facebook.
Yeah.
What about you, Alicia? What's your best performing content?
For me, it is stories where I'm face-to-face talking to the camera, or behind the scenes reels and TikToks where I'm just showing, the behind the scenes of everything.
Isn't that interesting? You'd think, I was hoping for a varied answer, but you'd think that there'd be one particular way of getting the most engagement, but really, like, the three of you have different types of customers, so what they want from your content is going to be different, which makes sense. But there's no like magic bullet of, a 13-second reel with a call to action and a hook at the start. Like, everyone wants different things from when they consume content, consume social media, but it's about trying different things until you figure out what your audience actually wants. And even then, who knows what posts will go viral, what reels will get the most views and likes and comments. So I think one of the things Alicia said before that is really important is just to have fun with it. If you're dreading using one of the platforms, you've got to ask yourself, like, what are you doing it for? Is it just to make sales, or are you going to connect with your audience? Or, you've got to think about why you're actually on the platform that you want to be on. Because if you're not having fun, you're not going to produce great content that's going to then be fun for people to watch, and it's going to be entertaining for them. So it's always important to zoom out and have a think about your strategy. You've got to think about the energy that you're bringing to your content, because that will carry across into the people that view your content.
I feel like that's why I do those like automatic posts to Facebook, because I really don't enjoy Facebook, but that's where I run my ads from. So I have to have that Facebook page set up so I can run ads for that and Instagram. So yeah, that's why I do it that way.
This is probably a self-answering question, but how do you engage with your audience?
I just post and pray for the best. No, I just post and hope people like my stuff.
That's fair. And do you reply to comments and messages?
Yeah, all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, even the mean ones.
Oh, do you keep them on your page, or do you
I keep them on there. Yeah.
And respond?
Yeah, and I respond.
I need to search your socials to find some of these.
It hasn't been that many, but yeah, I do get some, like, just trolls. And I'm just like, oh, I hope you have a nice life.
Sarcastic winky face.
Yeah.
Emoji. Oh, that's funny, because they're boosting your engagement. So if they want to write something, as long as it's not, really nasty.
Oh yeah.
I personally wouldn't keep anything on there. I personally don't respond, but then again, I've never had any. So maybe I would, if I'm feeling a bit cheeky, maybe I would respond that way. Yeah. What about you, Sue? How do you engage with your candle addicts, either in the Facebook group or just on socials in general?
I'm very, very active in engaging on Facebook, at the private page, and Instagram. But it's very interesting for me to see the different people on the different platforms. Facebook is more about candle addicts and customers. I feel like it's genuine engagement. When I went onto Instagram, I was really surprised at the people that followed me. So a lot of candle makers, which really, just blew me away, because the first time someone followed me from America or England or, I don't know, China, I'm like, what are they doing following me? So I find that Instagram is more like-minded candle makers. So I see lots of other people's posts, not so much a lot of my customers, but I engage with everybody. Always reply, always with a little love heart or a like. And I try to, I'm trying to think of the word, it's a beautiful candle. Yep, I really love it. Like, I try to mimic sort of what they're saying, but with different words, so they know I'm hearing what they're saying. That's very complex.
It makes
crazy.
Sense.
Yeah. So I'm always looking to mimic their line, and if they answer me with emojis, hearts and kisses, and I will do the same thing. That's exactly how I replied back to them. So I enjoy the engaging back with comments on all the social media platforms.
That's really interesting that you mentioned the mimicking. I'd love to know, Beck and Alicia, if you do the same, because that's what I do when I reply in comments. If someone writes a really long comment, I feel like I feel so inclined to respond with the same length, not like, word for word. Very much, if you've put in the effort to write a really beautiful, heartfelt comment, I don't want to reply with just a winky face or just something that's really dismissive almost. But Alicia, tell me, do you do that too? Or are you,
I do, yep. I feel like I even do it in real life. Like, I give someone the energy that they give me.
Yeah.
So Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think we're all people pleasers?
Yes.
Raise your hand. Don't worry, the listeners can't see that. We all raised our hand. All right, next question. Paid ads. Now, Beck, you spoke about that that you've done paid ads. Are you running any at the moment?
Just for my room sprays at the moment, because I want to, like, I feel like I've kind of pushed candles to where it needs to be. Now I want to push my room sprays. Next will be body mists, because I'm getting some professional photos done of them. Yeah, I feel like whatever I'm trying to get in my sales is what I'm going to run ads for. So yeah, at the moment is room sprays.
Okay, so not necessarily running ads for products you know already sell well,
Yep.
but products that you're wanting to get more exposure on.
Yeah.
And have you found that to be, and this is probably maybe a hard question to answer, might be easy, but do you find that ads in general have been a successful venture for you?
It depends, because I really feel that I've wasted a lot of money over the time that I've done it. So I did go down the Google Ads road, but as somebody that doesn't know marketing, that's not experienced with technology, I felt like I just wasted like a couple of $100 that I didn't have.
How much did you spend on, like, say, one ad?
Yeah, so it was about $200 over 8 weeks. And it's cost per click too. So every time somebody clicks on my ad, it costs me money. And I feel like maybe the competition may click, get in and spend all my money.
Yeah.
But whereas Facebook, I find it more cost effective. But the only thing is I don't see the sales that I would do like from Google. So I will get increased traffic to my website when I'm doing Facebook ads, which I think, this is great because more people are seeing my stuff, but they're actually not the people that I need to buy. So that's where I'm struggling with my paid ads.
It's not a run an ad, get a sale situation.
No.
It's very much, it will amplify your current results. Yeah, it kind of puts a magnifying glass on your business. So if you're not getting any sales, you're not going to suddenly run an ad and get lots of sales.
That's right. And you literally need, I think it's like 100 visitors minimum website traffic a day. Like, I think, I don't know, like up to 3,000 a month or something to get 1 or 2 sales. Like that's all the research I've done. And I'm like, okay, so I will put $4 a day down as my budget for Facebook ads. And I am seeing like probably 30 visitors a day on my website. So you would need to be spending probably $15 to $20 a day to even get to the traffic that you need to hopefully make a sale. Like to me, that is crazy that money is just going down the drain like that, especially in these times. So if anyone has that's listening that has any tips for me, please message me and let me know what I'm doing wrong.
Yes, definitely. I'm sure we would all love to know what the secret to running paid ads is. Sue, what about you? Have you run ads before?
In the early days on Facebook, I would do ads to advertising an upcoming market, and I would target friends of friends who liked my page. And then when I do markets away, so if I go out to Emerald and do a market at Emerald, I will put up, say, $30, $40, just for maybe 8 to 10 days before the market to target the ladies in the age bracket 25 to 65 to be shown my candles. And when I have been at market, people would actually say, "I seen the ad, that's why we came today." So I don't have the sales on the web page, but I will have the feedback from people to say, "We've seen your ad, we've bought your candles from All About House before or other places I've had them in." So I've had a little bit of success for it. I haven't done it lately at all. I thought about doing it for Mother's Day, but I just left my run too late. I'm doing the Childers Market. It's a big festival in July, so I will do a paid ad for 10 days for all the ladies around that area. And yeah, hopefully it goes well.
That's a great idea, Sue, to target like that area that you know where you're going. Like that is brilliant.
And it worked really effectively, Beck. The amount of ladies that actually came to me and said, "We seen your ad, we wanted to come see what you got." And yeah, I had a great market day it actually wasn't Emerald, I think it was further out. But it was a great market. So it has worked effectively. And if I do it locally, it's always Facebook asks me who I want to target. I want to target all of my Facebook followers and all of their friends. And that's usually what my guide is when I'm looking to see who I want to send the ad out to.
Alicia, have you run ads before on any of the platforms?
No, I boosted a post once on Instagram just to see what would happen and how it worked. It got nowhere. I am completely fascinated by people who can pull it off and who do run an ad and it is successful. So I always look at the Facebook ads that I get given, but I can't figure it out. I have no idea how it works and I'm too scared to just throw money away in it. So yeah, I'm fascinated by the people that get it right.
I never spend a lot on those ads, maybe 40, 50 bucks max. I never spend a lot.
But you hear like the top coaches, like I've been chatting to a couple of marketing coaches and they say $20 a day minimum before you can see results. And that nearly gave me a heart attack. I was like, who has money as a small business in these times to run $20 a day ads? And that's minimum. So if people are clicking over that, God, I would just die when I got my bill.
That's on Google though, isn't it?
Google and Facebook.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So really, like if you're running on both platforms, you would need like $50 a day. So yeah, that's way out of reach for me.
It's way out of reach for a lot of people because when you see ads of other candle makers, you go, wow, like, first of all, you're targeting another candle maker, so that's not gonna work for you. But how much money have you put in that ad? And have you done the research? You know, this is just in general, like, have you done the research? Have you gathered enough data and had the ad running long enough so that the algorithm can see who's actually going to click on your ad? You can't, I mean, maybe you can, but from what I've seen, you need to run an ad. You need to run ads for long periods of time for the data to come in, for it to, you know, do its thing, to then push it out to the right, you know, the right people, inverted quotes. But Sue, you get great results even if you do yours for a week. So then that throws that theory out of the water.
And it's interesting that you say that because my thought is I wanted it to show up a lot in a really short time frame. So if I had done it 2 weeks before, people might go, 2 weeks away, I'm not even thinking about that market. But if I do it the 7 to 10 days before a market, I feel like it's fresh in their memory.
It's a really good tip for anyone that's doing markets that has perhaps a small budget for ads. Perhaps consider Sue's strategy and run ads for the week leading up to the market and see if that makes a difference and see if you get customers coming up to you. So that's something that we can suggest the listeners try. Are any of you interested in the vanity numbers, the vanity metrics? Are you looking at how many followers you've got? Do you get upset if someone unfollows you? But are you focused on putting out the content and trusting that the right people will find you and stay with you?
Well, for me, I used to really get sad when I would see unfollows, and latest thing is people unsubscribing from my email list. But then when I think about it, I actually unsubscribe from emails too because I don't have money to spend right now. So I get it, but it's still like it leaves a little hole in my heart.
Yeah. When a person unsubscribes or unfollows on socials, they were never going to buy anyway.
Yeah.
And especially when it comes to email marketing, once you hit those, like, you know, 1,000 subscriber thresholds and above, you're paying for each of your subscribers. So when someone unsubscribes, my theory now is, oh, good, I don't have to worry about trying to appease that person. I'm just going to focus on my people. And, you know, the numbers always will fluctuate. That's just, you know, people will come and go in and out of your journey, in and out of your business till the end of time. It's just how things work. But I can appreciate that, yes, it does hurt a little bit when someone unsubscribes or unfollows, especially if it's someone that you've had a good connection with previously.
Yeah, that does hurt. Like regular clients, and then they go off to another business. And I love that, you know, they're still supporting local business and that, but I'm like, what did I do wrong? You know? Yeah, so it does, it hits you in the feels, but you also just got to focus on, okay, we've had our time, like they were great to my business, they were great to me, but now I'm looking to grow. So
Yeah.
moving on.
Yeah.
So can you tell who unsubscribes? Are you just talking about
Yes.
on your email list? You can't tell on Facebook.
No,
Or-
you can't unless you like you haven't seen them for a while. Like like some that comment and like engage all the time. Then next minute they're not there, and I'm like, oh, I hope they're okay. And I'll look, and then they're not following me anymore. I'm like, oh, okay, my heart just broke, but okay.
What about you, Alicia? Are you driven by the numbers, or are you just doing your thing and people will come and go?
I really wanted to get to 500 Instagram followers because I read that that's when your content gets pushed out more. So that was a goal. But since reaching that, it has not been pushed out more. So I would say that, yeah, I just don't think your follower count matters on any platform because your content should hopefully reach who you're intending it to reach. And when it comes to unsubscribes from emails, I don't even look at that because, yeah, like Beck, I unsubscribe from everything as well. So I can't really blame them.
Just a random question I thought of. Are you ladies inbox zero? So you know, you're very selective with who you subscribe to and what comes into your inbox, or do you have like hundreds of emails that need to be sorted through?
I got about 700
zero.
emails.
I knew you were going to say zero, Alicia, and I knew you were going to say that, Beck. Where are you, Sue? Where do you sit on the spectrum of managing?
I'm really embarrassed by this amount. This is my personal email. It is over 4,000. I just
my
do
God.
not.
My heart
I
just
do
stopped.
not clean anything out. It's shocking. It's so bad.
Well, I
I'm
know
like,
Sue would never unsubscribe for me then.
I would never
She doesn't even know
unsubscribe
she's
to
getting
you.
your
She
email.
doesn't know.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's so funny. I'm glad I asked that question. All right, let's get a little bit serious for a second. What challenges have you faced with your social media? And I'll leave it at that because you can take it anywhere you want to go.
Well,
That's
for
a
me, it's
tough-
just, yeah, getting followers and getting the right people that I know that will buy from me. So it's okay. Like people will say, you know, about doing giveaways and gaining followers from that. The only thing with that is those people are after something for free and, you know, they're not actually going to buy from you. So I think like I love doing giveaways, but the way I do it now is they have to make a purchase from my website and then they'll go into a draw to win because I know those people actually want to be there and they will actually support me. So that's what I find is my biggest challenge, people that are willing to purchase from me.
What about you, Alicia?
Mine is, and maybe you guys would even have the answer to it, it's showing up and people knowing it's my brand. Like there's a lot of people I follow, especially candle businesses where, you know, their hair is done the same in every video, their makeup's done the same in every video. You know it's them. And I feel like every single day, sometimes I wear my pajamas the whole day because I work from home. So it's like I do not dress the same every day. I do not do my hair the same every day. I don't have that consistency. So I wonder if that affects anything because people are like there's no familiarity between my content or how I look in my content. So I feel like at least that's what feels like is my biggest challenge.
I don't think that's it at all, Alicia. Like I reckon watching your stuff, you keep it real and raw. And that appeals to me. Yeah, I just love watching your stuff and I love that you change it up. Like you don't need to have all that stuff. You film in the moment and that's what I love.
It makes you more relatable. I don't want to see a robot.
Yeah.
I don't want to see someone this goes not just if you prefer any content I'm consuming. I don't want to see the same hair and makeup. Just have you filmed everything on the same day? I want to see you living your life and being part of that journey. So yeah, I agree with Beck. I don't think that's you're wrong, Alicia. You're wrong.
Yeah, you're wrong.
Just kidding. No. Yeah, that's a really interesting point, though. There's so many people that are trying to be what they think their followers want. And the three of you don't do that. And I love that. You're just being yourself, as scary as that can feel to share sometimes. People want to feel authenticity. They don't want to feel and see like your content's an ad, or that you've been sponsored by someone and that you're pushing products you don't actually believe in. Like, it's your own products. You love them, you believe in them, you want to share them with the world, and you're doing that by showing up as yourself. So yeah, I'm sorry that that's a challenge that you feel you have, but you're wrong.
Yeah, you're wrong.
Alicia, could you add like your logo, at the start of your videos as a transparent that comes up in the corner, it comes up at the end. So every time your video pops up, your little logo comes up at the bottom. When I first started, I had a flame that would grow, and then my name would come across the bottom of the page, and I would put that at the end of every video or reel. I don't so much now, but you could definitely put your logo so it just sort of comes up in the corner, fades away, and then it's all about you.
That's a great idea.
That's a good idea.
What about you, Sue? What's your biggest challenge with socials?
Crickets. When you post something, you think, oh, I love this post, and then nobody comments, or you get 3 likes. That is a challenge. And initially, I would be even a little bit embarrassed. Oh, nobody's commented, nobody liked it. I've got past that now. It's crickets, nobody's commented. I'll move on to the next one. So that was always a bit of a challenge. And I do find that on Instagram. Don't get as much interaction on Instagram. So yeah, that's what I find challenging. I do lives sometimes. I've done it once. That's not even sometimes, is it? I've done it once. And I struggle with that because when I make a reel or a video, I will do it quite a few times and cut it and put it together. And I don't want to be fake, but I don't want to be umming and ahhing, and I get my words mixed up and I stumble and I call a product like a candle the wrong scent. So that's why I like to put it together and pre-record it. So that's another thing I struggle with, is going live.
I'd love to do a live, but I'm the same. I'm scared that I will release all my weirdness and no one will come back. No, I try and be professional, but I know something weird's going to come out, and it's out because I'm on live.
And that's what I worry about too.
Yeah.
The words don't come out, blah, 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 blah. And so I cut that out. I should do a bloopers reel. That would be hysterical.
Yeah.
I would love to see that from you,
Yeah,
Sue.
I'd
I
love
think
it.
that would be fun.
Yeah.
All right.
Don't forget, ladies, and everyone that's listening, not everyone is watching that closely. We are so in deep with our business, and we attach our emotions and feelings and pressure onto every piece of content that we create, whether we do it in the moment or whether it's pre-recorded or however we're doing it. People are living their lives. They're coming in and out of our business as often or as infrequently as they just will. But not everyone cares as much about our business as we do. We're very much the biggest advocates of our business and our dreams and our goals and what we want to achieve with our business. So when we have all this pressure that's on us, it can be so overwhelming that we don't post. But you fumble through it, you figure it out, you go through the clunkiness, it gets better, it gets easier. And let me just say, as a side note, Beck, I want to see your weirdness come through. It's who you are.
Yeah, that's true.
It's more authentic. Not that you're not being authentic already, but
yeah,
I think, we want to be accepted by others. We want people to love our business. And if we don't love ourselves enough to share all the parts of us, not necessarily on socials, but just in general, like, for markets or just life in general, it can be hard for that customer or that follower to really connect in with you. But that's not to say that you have to share every part of you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I have a lot of people that say to me, oh, you should just jump on and just be yourself, like your followers will come. And I'm like, but I can't be fully myself because what happens then.
Oh, too funny.
That's reserved.
Yeah. Instagram and Facebook will ban me if I'm fully myself because of the words I use.
Yeah.
Some of them are naughty words.
Yeah.
All right. Let me just ask a question about your overall marketing and sales strategy. Are you all about the socials? Is that where you're putting most of your attention? Or are you doing a bit of email marketing like you, Beck, a bit of in-person marketing like you, Sue? Or Alicia, are you creating behind the scenes reels and sharing, basically everything about your business is being shared with the business on socials. But where else and how else are we promoting our brand? How else can we get the word out about our businesses?
Well, I do a little bit of everything with mine. So I will tell people, like if anyone asks me about a candle and that, I will tell them about my business. When I'm at work, we sell candles and I'll say, oh, do you know I make candles? And like, I'll tell them about my business. And yeah, just word of mouth. I got some flyers printed, which I did a little letterbox drop. And I'm like, that's old school. I know not everybody appreciates that, but I felt like it would help. Yeah, just a little bit of everything. I think it'll all add up in the end, hopefully.
What about you, Sue?
Well, obviously, I do lots of marketing at the markets, and I feel for me that is what got the candles out there in the first place. I would go to a market, sell a few, and then next market I'd sell a few more. I do put a lot of effort into social media. With the emails, I only send out one email a month. I tell candle addicts that it's a love letter because I myself hate it when I sign up for an email and I'm inundated, 2 a week, 1 every day. So when I tell customers about the emails, I say it's only once a month, maybe twice if it's the silly season. But word of mouth, I'm always word of mouthing too. We have a second business, and in the Christmas lead up, I'll put the candles in our workshop and people come in and smell them. And I have sold quite a bit through that, boys coming in. Oh, what's that smell? Oh, that's our sassy sandalwood diffuser. We need that for our workshop. And then they come back and buy 3 more. And I'm like, yeah. So periodically I have them in the workshop, but a lot of word of mouth.
And what about you, Alicia?
For me, like my main focus is social media, but I have had a lot of organic marketing happen, and this is so weird. The postman has obviously seen me working out of the garage and he's become a fan. And same as the pizza delivery guy.
I love that.
And my brother's friends have all become addicted to candles too, from coming over and hanging out with my brother. And my brother's like, my sister's making candles out there. They come out and they're like, oh, how much are they? And I'm just selling them candles.
That is brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of like organic word of mouth, but then my focus is social media.
A question.
Go Sue.
Hashtags. I am interested to see what you ladies do. Beck, I see you leave your hashtags in your comments.
Yep.
Yes, I leave maybe 4 underneath my post. Alicia, what do you do?
I don't know if this is a thing. I have hashtag fatigue right now. I can't deal with it. So I've just stopped. I've got like 1 or 2 on each because I've lost the energy for them. So, I mean, that's probably hurting the business.
Do you think they work?
That's why I've stopped, because I'm like, what's the point? I don't know.
I actually asked a lady at a market one day what the purpose of a hashtag was on Facebook, because we were putting a post up for the market I was at. And she said people search Facebook by hashtags. So I then went in and done a hashtag search for the market I was at, and it brought up everybody's post. I had never done that before. Wow. I didn't know that. So
I've never done that.
That was interesting.
So on Instagram,
on Facebook. So
Instagram and Facebook, because they're both Meta. If you like enter your hashtags, you can click on that hashtag and it will show up. Like if I put Rockhampton in, it will show me up on the Rockhampton page. So that's why I do it.
And are we using as many hashtags as possible, or just a select few?
I just like to dabble in different things. But I also was told with hashtags, it's good for SEO, so your search engine optimization. So if I want to rank for something in Google, I will put, at the moment, I'm trying to rank for Dessert Candles Australia, because I want to be up there with those leaders. So I will use that hashtag in every single post. That way it will gain some traction for my SEO, hopefully. That's the plan.
That's really interesting you say that, because sometimes I will jump on my husband's phone or my daughter's phone and I'll type in on Google Candles Yapoon just to see where I come up, and then Candles Rockhampton. It's very, very interesting because there was a candle maker in the area. She's no longer around and it still rates up really high. I'm thinking, how does that happen?
Yeah, well, I can tell you now, Sue, you are number one in Yapoon because I've already looked it up. So you're doing well.
Thank you.
And I think I'm about number 4 in Rocky, and Dusk, which is like a huge company. I'll never beat them, but they're ranking at number 1. So I think number 4 is pretty good.
That's really good.
But I need to get on that Australia-wide thing. So I'm working on it.
And then the world.
And then the world.
So I want to just turn the conversation to helping the listeners specifically with our advice. So if each of you could give advice to other candle makers looking to improve their social media presence, what would be your biggest tip for them?
Well, for me, it'd be just staying consistent. Just posting when you can in the moment is better, because I feel like when you post, you're posting with intent and you've got that energy behind it, and just be yourself. And I'm going to make a story. I'll do something and I'll put myself up there next week so everybody can have a look. And yeah, if it works for me and I can do it, you guys can do it too.
On Facebook and Instagram?
Well, we will see, Sue. I might dabble on Facebook just for you.
Oh, I'd like that.
And TikTok as well. Let's do all the platforms.
Well, why not? Why not?
We could do a dancing video, Beck.
I don't know about that.
So funny. All right. So consistency, do it in the moment, got the right intent.
Yeah.
Just get out there, be yourself. All right. What about you, Sue? What would be your biggest tip for candle makers to grow on socials?
I'd say be consistent. Also, it's about the know, like, and trust factor. Don't just, here's my candles. Put up posts that they get to know you. Also, maybe sharing other people's posts. I know on Facebook, I will share posts from other makers. So like if Beck made the news, we would share Beck's story. So because I'm at the markets, I will often share other makers' stories. They've had a great write-up in the paper. So I'll share that. So it's not just about you, but also commenting on Instagram. So if I'm commenting on Alicia's posts or Beck's posts, your name is coming up all the time on other people's posts. So interact with other makers if you're going to market. So if I interact with the honey maker or the bag lady or Beck's candles or the spice lady, your name's just being seen by a whole new group of people that don't know about your candles. So being consistent, know, like, and trust, and engaging with other people.
Isn't it interesting that when you're actually social on social media, you get good results? That's what it's supposed to be. It's not just, as we said, post and ghost or just promoting your own products. You've got to be on there with the right intention, still be strategic in how you spend your limited time. But yes, I love those tips, Sue. Thank you for sharing. And Alicia, to round us out, what is your biggest tip for candle makers to help them grow on socials?
Showing your face is important. I've seen a bit of a trend where people are saying that faceless videos can work and faceless accounts can become trendy and popular. But I think that for candles specifically, you need to show your face and build that trust so people know they're buying from you. And I think also specifically for Instagram is not to make your feed look like it's 2015 and, do one post and then a quote and one post and a quote. Like, people don't want that super aesthetic feed anymore. Still aesthetic, but not as bad as it used to be.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be perfect.
Yeah. I just want to jump in on this book that I'm reading at the moment. It says, like, you look at sales like dating. So you can't just turn up to a date and say, right, we're going to get married. And that's buying the product. You have to wine and dine them. You have to reel them in. make them love you, and then you'll get that sale or the marriage. You know, like people can't expect to just put their products there and go, all right, buy me, because it's not how it works. We need to be consistent with whining and dining and like interacting with your customers and everything, and then eventually making that sale.
The other thing I would say to new candle makers is don't be negative on any of the social platforms, as in if you're at a market, I had no sales today, or, you know, I had 3 candles and everybody smelt them and said how beautiful they were, but nobody bought them. I think you need to fake it till you make it. So regardless of whether you've had a bad day of sales, it was a fabulous day. I met so many wonderful people and everybody smelt them, said they were fantastic.
Yeah, because it's never a loss, is it, Sue? Like even when you're at a market, you're always, if you talk to 10 people, that's 10 more people that know you exist. So even if you don't make any sales, it's never a loss.
Because if you're the type of person that is consistently putting up sad posts, I didn't make any sales, nobody likes this scent, they don't like my jar, they don't like the colour, I'm just thinking straight away, oh my goodness.
You don't make sales from people feeling sorry for you. It won't last.
Yeah. Nobody wants a pity sale.
Yeah.
Don't manipulate your customers into buying from you.
Yes, that's another great tip. Because it does happen. I see it a lot. Yeah.
What do you mean by manipulate? What have you seen?
I have seen a lot of TikToks where people start the TikTok by saying, my small business is failing, and then they explain why. And then they go into how they've spent X amount of money and they're not getting sales, and it's basically the customer's fault. And then they try and get people to feel sorry for them so that they purchase from them. But their business isn't failing. They just haven't put in the work. They haven't tried everything, or it's just, I hate that. It feels really manipulative when I read something where it's like, I'm doing all this work and not getting anything in return. That might be the case, but it's not your customer's fault.
Yeah, I agree. You need to work harder.
Yeah, and pivot. Try something new. If what you're doing is not working, try something different. Not in that you're chopping and changing, trying to follow the latest trend, but if you've tried something thoroughly and it's not working for you, might work for someone, another business, but if it's not working for you, try something else and see how you go.
Yeah.
Any of you have anything else you'd like to share about social media?
Can I say one thing I like about Instagram?
Yeah, sure.
So I mentioned earlier, I get a lot of candle makers from overseas following, which I really was surprised by. But what I enjoy about that is if somebody posts a really good reel in America or in South Australia, I think, oh, that's very, very catchy. I won't copy it, but I may use some music, or I'll use it as a basis for an idea. So Instagram can be really good for that. I wouldn't take something Beck's done because, you know, we're neighbours, we're right in each other's pockets, but I would take something from somebody in Melbourne or something from Western Australia. And even if it is just the music, if it's something that really catches and I think, oh, that would work really well for diffusers or soy melters, then I will save it and then I'll come back to it and put my own spin on it. So Instagram is good for getting ideas.
And I also love Instagram as well for like your listeners, Kirsty, because I have received so many messages from other candle makers to say like how much they love this podcast and how much they love listening to us, and like just getting that variety of answers, and like we're really different people. Yeah. So I love, getting that feedback, and I appreciate every single message that I get.
Mm-hmm. It's so interesting because sometimes you can forget that we're recording, like that other people are going to hear these conversations. You just think it's just 4 friends just catching up, just chatting about our favorite thing in the world, candles. And then you post like the episode and you might not get feedback straight away, but then I've still got people messaging me now saying, I've just found your podcast now and I'm going back through all the episodes. So people will come in and out of different episodes at different times. But then when you do get messages from people that feel inspired by your journey or that appreciate what you've shared, it really does make a difference. And you know that you are having an impact on others, even if it's other candle makers, you're still having a positive impact in the world. And I think that's something that's not to be taken for granted.
Yeah, I agree.
Thank you so much for another beautiful conversation tonight, ladies. I've loved chatting with you all about social media. If anyone wants to get in touch with Beck, Sue, or Alicia, I will pop their links in the show notes of this episode. And of course, you're always welcome to say hello to any of us on socials. Obviously, we use socials, so you can find us there, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, or even joining one of our email lists. We would love to connect. So thank you so much, Beck. Thank you, Sue. And thank you, Alicia, for tonight. And I can't wait for the next Candle Maker Connections episode.
Thank you.
Thank you. See ya.
Thank you.
Thank you, my friend, for listening to this episode. Check out the show notes for all the links mentioned throughout the conversation, and please subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any future episodes. And if you're feeling inspired, I would love it if you would write a review for the podcast and give a 5-star rating. Thank you so much and have a beautiful day.